I'm on top of the Cybertruck and it looks really cool looking down. What's going on, guys? It's Brandon, or Tesla Flex, and right here with me I have the 2024 Cybertruck Foundation all-wheel drive. Before we get started, I want to thank the sponsor of this video, Drive Protected, for making all of this possible. Drive Protected is your #1 source for do-it-yourself paint protection film for your Tesla. This is the dual motor Cybertruck, and there's something special about this. It's one of the first ones delivered, so it has a special Foundation Series badge right here. It's laser etched into the side of the car. But right now, it seems Tesla is only building the all-wheel drive Foundation Series, and this starts at $100,000 before taxes. It's about $20,000 more than the regular all-wheel drive that will be eventually released. But let's go over some specs real quick. This specific Cybertruck is rated for 318 miles of range with a 4.1 second 0 to 60 and a top speed of 112 miles per hour. It has 600 horsepower and 7,435 pound-feet of torque, and it can tow up to 11,000 pounds. So starting on the outside, we have a full stainless steel body, and this is Tesla's own type of stainless steel. So one thing about it is that it's actually magnetic, so you can stick things to the side of the car and they'll stick right on there if they're magnetic, of course. And it's actually the first Tesla vehicle to have this, is that it has a power frunk, and there's actually a button right on the front. So once the frunk opens up, you have all the space for your stuff and smaller suitcases. And right here in the front, you have the cap for the wiper fluid. And of course, it has a little cyber themed design. It's on the left side. It's usually on the right side for Teslas, but they moved it on the left just with all the space they have. But then right here is the button. So if I press this one more time, it'll actually close the frunk, which is really convenient. Once they get this on their other vehicles, I think the frunk usage will go up a lot. Next, we have the giant windshield wiper. This is about 4 feet long, and it is actually crazy fast. I'll put a clip up right there right now. It's kind of insane, like just how fast it moves. And I honestly didn't think it would work that well, but it works really well. Next, we have the 20-inch wheels with the 35-inch all-terrain tires, and we have this really cool wheel covers. But if you pull right here, you can actually pull it off the car and reveal what's underneath. I would probably go without these. These look really cool for staging, but personally I think this just looks a little bit more subtle, and everyone's already looking at the truck. No matter where you go, like, people are looking and staring. Then of course we have the cameras right here for autopilot. This one's actually in the fender, and this is hardware 4. Not sure if it has the radar. Coming back here, we have, the doors, and one cool thing about this door actually is that when you open it, it opens up a full 90 degrees. So you can see right inside of the cabin, and it's easy to get in and out. Next, right here, we have the charge port, which is built into the rear fender flare, and it has a little Cybertruck logo instead of a Tesla T, like all of the other vehicles. And to close it, you can just lightly press, and it will close itself. So right here, we have the power tonneau cover, which can support up to 300 pounds if you stand on top. So for example, I can actually just climb up top real quick. And there you go, I'm on top of the Cybertruck, and it looks really cool looking down. And then you also notice that you can't even see inside the cabin, you just see the sky right there. But from the inside out, you can see pretty much everything. So that tinting is really nice. And I'm pretty sure this is the same type of tint the Model X has, where it kind of has the ultraviolet on top. I'm not 100% sure on that, but if it rains, I can find out. All right, so in the bed, this is actually like a 6-foot long bed. I can fully lay down inside of it. And right here, if you lift this up, you have some deep trunk storage, and you can actually move these out of the way. These just go here in case you have other things you don't want them to slide around all the time. And you can just close this. And then right here, we have something really cool. These are power outlets. So we have 2 12-volt, and then we also have 1450. Along the back part of the Cybertruck, there's also multiple different mounting points. So if you actually fold this inward right here, you can see you can mount different crossbars right here. So there's one right here and one right here on each side. And that doesn't include the track right here that you can also connect things with. And this being a Foundation Series, you do get every single possible accessory. So right here, we have a bottle opener as well. So to open it up, there's these buttons right here. This is to push it back, this is to push it closed, and this is to open the tailgate. So if I press this, it will open up fully. It's pretty smooth, and then it reveals that bed area. And you look right here, there's actually a back window, but it's only available when the tonneau cover is fully open. So to close it, I can just press right here and it will close it, which honestly, I'm really impressed with how smooth this is. And it's not that loud from the inside either. And then right here, if I press this, it has a soft opening tailgate, and it's a little bit of a soft close as well. So it's kind of like weighted. There seems to be some kind of spring in here, because when I lift it up here, I can use 2 fingers. And one more thing about this is that if I have it just right here, it will close the rest of the way by itself. So it has a nice soft close mechanism. That way you don't have to slam it closed. It's just closing softly. So right here we have the backup camera, which is also the rear view camera, because when this is closed, you don't have any rear view. So it just pops up on the screen, but I'll show you that in a second. Then right here, pretty much the same as the other side. And then we have the door handles, or lack of door handles, which are actually just buttons. So you just press this in and you can open the door. But there's something interesting. So if you press this in, you can't actually close the door, because right here there's a little plunger. So you can't like smash your fingers on accident. But this is like, does seem like it could potentially cut someone. It's stainless steel, it's pretty sharp, but like, I don't think it would cut me. Then coming up to the front, we have the side mirrors, which are removable. There's only a few bolts holding this in place, which is really nice. So where are the headlights on this Cybertruck? Because this is a daytime running light. They're actually a little bit down here. So right here, we have the actual headlights, and then we have some more lights and also the turn signal. Then we have some recovery hooks as well. And something really cool, or at least I think is really cool, is the front camera. So parking a truck this big, pulling into a spot, is pretty hard. I mean, I can barely do it in my Model Y because there's no front bumper camera and no sensors. So it's like, it's gotten better, but this is definitely gonna help with people parking in the spot right. And also you're going around curves and that kind of thing. You don't really know everything in front of you. You can turn the camera on and it actually has lines to show you which way you're going if you'll hit anything. So what happens if the front bumper camera gets dirty? There's actually a washer built right in. So when it does get dirty, you can go ahead and press a button on the screen and it cleans it right off. It's pretty aggressive when it sprays on there. The only thing I wish that the Cybertruck had is that I wish it had a rear washer on the camera, because the front one is really cool, but the rear one still gets dirty and you have to wipe it off all the time. So before we get inside, let's just do a quick little check of the build quality, because this is a brand new product, so there's bound to be issues. But honestly, I'm pretty impressed. I think maybe the one thing they can improve on is like the hood height. It kind of dips down a little bit too much, but this looks pretty well aligned, as well as this. And even the back doors are really well aligned. So overall, I mean, they're doing a pretty good job. It's not really that hard to mess up alignment on a car that has like very flat panels, but I'm impressed, and it'll always get better. I think actually there's one thing we did notice earlier. So if you go on the other side, right up here, you can see this glass is a little bit lower on the further side, like right over there, than it is on this side. And I think that's because the robot that puts the glass down maybe pressed down too hard with the adhesive. No big deal though. This video is sponsored by Drive Protected. Drive Protected is your #1 source for DIY paint protection film for your Tesla. Drive Protected's Defense Plus PPF is a user-friendly PPF that's 8 mils thick, is self-healing, and has a built-in hydrophobic layer that makes it a lot easier to clean the car. Drive Protected has a training academy on their website with follow-along videos that makes installing your PPF yourself a lot easier. Drive Protected also has a risk-free guarantee, which means if you mess up your PPF, they'll send you a replacement for free. You just pay for shipping. From how to prep your Tesla for PPF installation, to how to mix solutions, to walking you through each step of the process, Drive Protected has you covered. All right, so let's get inside now. So to open the door, you just press right here and it pops the door open. And like I said, you can't close the door when it's popped open like that. You have to open it fully and then the plunger goes in. So right here we have the door sills, which say Cybertruck, but it's in like the welded design like we've seen everywhere. So the front seats are heated and cooled, just like the refresh Model 3 and the Model S and Model X. Right here we have the center console with 2 wireless chargers, and this is my iPhone 15 Pro Max. When I put this down on here, it does charge. My Model Y doesn't even do that. So I'm guessing this is a pretty similar part that the S, X, and Refresh 3 all use for the wireless charger, just different position. Of course, 2 cup holders, and then we have a magnetic armrest right here. And we also have the Tesla key. And if you look closely, they have it on a Cybertruck. So they didn't just print out a bunch of the regular ones. They have a little Cybertruck logo, or the Cybertruck shape of the car right there. This little pocket thing that lifts up. And down here you have even more storage and a 65 watt USB-C port, which could be better, but it's a good start. And then of course we have this area. I'm not 100% sure how useful it is. I guess you could put extra stuff in here. And then we have this. It feels kind of coarse. I'm not sure if that's a normal thing, but this is a pretty early VIN Cybertruck, so if it's an issue, I'm sure it'll be fixed later in production. It's pretty comfortable. And here we have what is called the Squircle. So it looks a lot like the yoke, which I did kind of like, but it has this nice little top part. It has steer-by-wire, so this is not physically connected to the car. It has, I think it uses like Ethernet cables, and it's a whole 48-volt system. Some of you might know I actually had an issue with the screen yesterday or the other day, and it did get fixed, so everything's good with that. But then right here we have these door panels and the door buttons, very similar to the new Model 3 where they're kind of, you press them in still. And of course with the window buttons right here, you know, just the same stuff. The emergency release that if you pull, will pop the door open like that. But then on the Squircle, we have a very similar design to the Model 3 Highland, which I also reviewed a couple months ago. So to turn left, you would press down, and it has a very haptic feel. It actually presses down, whereas on the Model S and Model X, it doesn't do that. So I really like that. And one thing that Tesla did keep, which I'm really thankful for, is the horn is still in the center, which I think they're finally going to move that to the Model S and X eventually. But, you know, it's nice that they kept the horn. It means that the future cars will definitely have the horn in the center. Now, moving to the screen, there's a lot of different things on here. So we have a whole bunch of different controls. We can control the ride height directly from the main screen. So right now we're on the lowest ride height. It's called entry. It makes it easy to get in and out of the car. But here's our next highest option, which is low. And the next one is medium. But then we can go to the high ride height. High ride height, you can kind of feel it going up because you can definitely see the surroundings changing. All right, so now we are at the highest air suspension level. I'm gonna drop it down all the way to entry. And actually, if you look on the screen, it shows you the exact height. So if I go ahead and click entry, you can see on the screen it lowers, but also the whole car just gets super low to the ground. So if you look on the side, you can see that it's telling me the exact height. So we're at 5'8" right now. Open and close the tonneau cover and the tailgate. Adjust the mirrors, the steering, go in car wash mode, which is actually a new thing on the main screen. Usually it's like in the service screen. Sentry mode, the dash cam, which there's no thing in the glove box right now. Child lock, window lock, all of these are just right on here. And we have a whole screen for dynamics. So this is basically the pedals and steering that would usually be on it. So we have different drive modes. We have comfort, sport, and off-road. And then we have acceleration modes, which is chill and standard. And then we have the ride and handling modes, which is relaxed and focused. And then you have actually a preferred ride height. So if you want to ride lower and be more efficient, you can do that. But if you want to be higher up, maybe you're going on like, you know, you're not going off-road, but you're going to be like on, maybe there's potholes or dips and you don't have to deal with it. You can just set it to higher and it will, you know, keep the higher suspension as long as it can. And then we have an entire tab just for towing and hauling. And I don't know much about this. If you want the really nerdy details, check out Kyle's video. We have a whole charging screen. We're at 69%, nice. And for anyone wondering, at 69%, we are getting 220 miles of range. And I will not be doing any range testing, but again, Kyle did a range test. I won't spoil the results, so go check out his video of the range test if you haven't already. Next, we have a full screen just for the outlets and the mods. So we have a power feed in the front, a power feed in the roof, outlets in the center console area, like right down here. And then we have an outlet in the back. We have a 1450 and two 12-volt outlets in there. And then you also have an option to enable the cabin outlets on entry. And you can also keep these on for up to 12 hours. So that's nice. And then right here we have autopilot screen, which is pretty barren right now. It only has traffic aware cruise control at the moment. And like every other Tesla, it has a minimum follow distance of 2. This has full self-driving beta like as an option, but because this is like such a new vehicle, they've only delivered a few hundred of them. It's not available yet, but for some reason, traffic light and stop sign control is available. So I'm sure autopilot and full self-driving will catch up eventually. They're just taking some time to like actually get these cars out. Cause I mean, there's some minor issues, but nothing like the, you know, car exploding or catching on fire. It's just like little software things like I had to deal with yesterday. Next, we have the lock screen, which can show all of the different keys on here. And the child lock, it's basically the same as every other Tesla. This uses My Cube, but there is, I think, an option to actually have the home link installed if you really want that. Then we have the lighting option. So this is cool. Just like the refreshed Model 3, we have ambient lights. So you can change your different options. You can have purple, pink, orange, green. I mean, it's right in the doors right here. So it goes along the door, through here, and it even is in the back doors over here. So it's pretty cool. This will be in all Teslas eventually. Right now, it's just in the refresh Model 3 and the Cybertruck. So next we have our display settings, and right here you can actually see there's a new option called Cybertruck logo, and that allows you to have the logo on the screen when you just open the car and like it starts up. Then we have a trips tab, and just don't pay attention to my efficiency. We've not been driving very efficient. Navigation settings, safety settings, service settings, and then I can't go on the software screen because I can't share the VIN. But then we have upgrades, which should be pretty much none, yeah, because it has full self-driving and lifetime premium connectivity, so there's nothing for it to buy. Then of course we have the whole Cybertruck UI, which is pretty crazy actually. I want to see this on all the other cars, but you can basically move this around whichever way you want. It's really responsive, which I love. And then you can see the headlights are shining, even though this is like not really true of what the Cybertruck looks like, because the headlights are down here on the Cybertruck. Still looks pretty cool. You can control everything for the Cybertruck through here. So if you press over here, you can open the front just like here, and it's not really that loud from the inside, but you see it opening live on the screen. So if I close it, you can watch it close on the screen just like that. And then if I press right up here, I can open the tonneau cover. So if I click open, you can see it opening live on the screen, which that's really cool. And I can also open the tailgate. So if I press right here, I can click open, and it does a soft open, and it even tells me the tailgate is open, so you can't really go into drive without that. I'm sure you can go and drive, it's just gonna beep at you a million times. So if I wanna close the tonneau cover, I can just click right here. And again, it shows it closing live on the screen. But unfortunately, this is not a power close, so I have to manually close that. The whole UI just has a different feel to it. It's all like hexagonal, different like shapes. So I really like that. This is a pretty long thing. So if you lose something up here, you're really gonna be reaching hard. And I think that's just because all the like internals are pretty much right underneath here, because the front of the truck is so small. If I press right here, look at this windshield wiper, but that's just on the regular wiping speed. So if I go right here and I say, I'm gonna go full speed, here we go. Look how fast that is. It's so big and it's so fast. That's crazy. Huh? So it stays right there. But if I actually press this and hold it, but it's pretty good with wiping everything away. Honestly, like maybe there's like some little areas up here, you can barely see it, that have some liquid, but it wipes everything really well. Now, this is one of the biggest windshields in any car that's being produced today. And right here we have the sun visors. So this is pretty similar to the Model X. I would say this is a little floppy right here, so not a big deal. It's just definitely, it's like one chunk smaller than the Model X would be. But it is pretty dang low. Like from right here, there's no view of the road. And then when you want to store it, you just put it up like this. And you can also remove it, and it has a little magnet right there, but it's not really going that far. You can maybe move it like over here, it will go, but you know, it's not really meant to move that far. And when you get it close enough, you can actually see it magnetizes right there. So that's pretty cool. And I don't think this would be a really big issue, because you know, the sun's coming down on you, just put this right up, and you want the sun in front of you, just do that. So pretty cool addition. It's nice that they didn't make it look super awkward like the Model X. So let's go ahead and get in the back and check this out. Now, getting in the back seats is the exact same as the front, just a smaller button. So you can open the door, and it actually opens 90 degrees, so a lot more loading space. And then we have the back seats. These are only heated, but it's only this seat and that seat that are heated. The middle seat is no longer heated, just like the refresh Model 3 for some reason. So to put these seats up, all I have to do is pull this right here next to the seat belt, and I can fold it upward. And I can do the same on the other side. So I just pull right here, and here we go. So now if you really wanted to, you could lay down in here. I mean, I can just walk through here pretty normally. Pretty nice. So if you have something long that you need to fit in here, you can definitely fit it inside. So great space for extra cargo. So included with the Foundation series, you get all weather floor mats, and if you look right up here, there's a little Cybertruck logo. Then to fold these down, you just pull again, and you can push the seat down, and same thing for the other side. So here we have the door, and did you hear how solid that thud was? Let's do that again. That was solid. So this is the window button, and one thing I want to say about this is that when you're sitting here and your arm is on it, you can sometimes accidentally push the window down because of the way your elbow sits on here. So I'm not sure why the window button is so big. It's the biggest I've ever seen in the car. And for the emergency release latch, because I'm sure some people are wondering, it's in here. It's very similar to the Model Y and Model 3. There's a little cover you just take off, and then you lift this up right here. Here's your emergency release, and you just pull that to get out of the car if it's dead or for some reason it just has no power. So right here is the back seat, and these are the seat back pockets. Pretty good space. I don't really know why they chose to do this instead of the one in the Model 3 where you can kind of pull it and it cranks back, and it's more like a stretchy stuff right here, but this is all right. And then we have the rear display, and here are the air settings. So you can, of course, move this whichever way you want, but there's now 3 different air tunnels. So we have the main ones right here and the bottom one. The refresh Model 3 only has a chunk at the very bottom. I kind of like this. The screen is a pretty good size as well, so you can just control it whichever way you'd like. And if you look closely, you can see there's like a little hexagon right here that it kind of shows you where the air is pointing, so that's cool. And you can just set it to do hitting your face or just hitting your feet. Really nice. So one weird thing about this is that the Cybertruck only has dual zone climate control. So we have 2 zones in the front and then a shared one in the back. So usually like on the Model S and X, you can control the temperature in the back. But here, just like on the refresh Model 3, you can only control the fan speed. However, you can go 1 speed higher on the Cybertruck than on the Model 3. So going over to the seat settings, again, just like the Model S and X and refresh Model 3, you can move the seat all the way forward if no one is in it and you're not in drive. And then of course, you can also move it back if you need to. And then like I said, there's only 2 seat heaters in the back. The middle seat is not heated, but realistically, how often are you going and sitting in the middle seat? I would say most people are not using the middle seat in the back that much, and maybe they looked at the data and said, oh, we found that people weren't using the middle seat heater enough, so we just got rid of it, because the refresh Model 3 doesn't have this either. Next, we have our entertainment options, and the Cybertruck is behind on software a little bit, so it doesn't have all the same stuff that the Model S, 3, and X have on the rear displays, but it will get there. So we have entertainment options, of course, Netflix, YouTube, Hulu, and Twitch. Disney Plus is just gone. And of course, you can control the volume from back here. And like I said, it's just little tiny UI changes for the Cybertruck with like little cyber themed things. So really cool. Rear display, I am glad that they're finally pushing it to all the cars. The Model Y will eventually get a refresh, and then all of their Tesla vehicles will have 2 screens at minimum. Below the rear display, we have 2 USB-C ports on either side of this brand new 12-volt outlet. So this is what it looks like if you're a passenger in the Cybertruck. You have this giant glass roof above you, and then if you're on the sides, you can actually pull this right here, and it releases the armrest, maybe. There we go, it's gonna pull hard enough, and it should go down. Maybe this is a 2-hand job. This is an interesting design, honestly. I'm not sure why they didn't just use the same one as the Model S, or the Model 3 just goes right down. I would assume it's because there's other things that could be happening in here. Maybe it just didn't make sense, but it is very bouncy. It doesn't really slide down. It's just a big drop. 2 more cup holders, armrest, no wireless chargers or anything. This was popping out. It's actually just the adjustable headrest for the rear seats. And then we have the coat hooks and the lights, very similar to the Model Y placement. And I mean, it's just a coat hook, but I'm sure it works just fine. And right here is the ambient lighting for the back seats. It's on both door panels, so that makes it this door panel, those 2 door panels, and then of course right here on the dashboard. And at night, it just looks so cool. All right, guys, that's gonna be all for this video. Of course, I will have my full review coming very soon and plenty of other Cybertruck videos. Once again, I want to thank my sponsor for this video, Drive Protected. Make sure to check them out in the description below. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe, and let me know down in the comments what your favorite Cybertruck feature is. Thanks for watching, guys. Let's see you in the next one.